Ready?
We call the State Fair Community Board of Trustee meeting for March 28, 2024 to order. I would entertain a motion. First of all, we'll welcome you. We'll stop and do that because that's not down on the list, but welcome. Thank you all for being able to attend, and we hope many others were able to join us via Zoom. So I would entertain a motion for approval of the general session agenda.
Moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, citizens' comments. Do we have any, Lisa?
We have no comment.
All right, now we're going to move to introductions of new employees.
Well, since we had to wait so long, we thought we'd just have a session just for this person only. Because he's so special. So, for this position, so I'd like to introduce Michael Leonard, sitting behind me. Michael comes from is also a retired military. Spent about half his time in the Army. You can correct me wherever you need to, Michael. About half his time in the Air Force. And so he's also been in higher ed for a lot of years. I don't calculate all those things, but he's previously, his last position was Dean of Career and Tech Ed and Business, as well as he held a second job as interim Dean of STEM at North Shore Community College in the Boston area. And he's also served in other senior leadership positions. He's been department chair for Ag. He's been academic program manager for 56 CTE programs at Frederick Community College in Maryland. He's been training specialist and program manager for the Department of the VA. He's got all kinds of other military experience, and he's got a bachelor's from Mizzou, a master's in geoscience, as well as another in agriculture and extension ed from North Carolina State. So he's been around a few states as well as most of us in the military have, but we're extremely excited to get him on board, and he's running.
Michael, since you're the only one, we have time for a 30-minute or 30-second speech.
Look at it. Look at it.
Welcome to our team.
Thank you.
Wow.
3 seconds would be good. Just happy to be here. Thanks for approving me to come. And looking forward to getting lots of good stuff done.
Welcome to Missouri. Welcome to Sedalia, and welcome to State Fair Community College.
Living down in the Warsaw.
Oh, and that's-
Amy's neighbor.
Yeah, I thought Amy might want to know.
All right.
I haven't heard yet. Well, I'm sure somebody can tell me tomorrow.
All right, we will do an approval of the minutes for the February 22nd, 2024 board meeting, which was sent to us as well as it's in your packet. I'm going to entertain a motion. Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion passes. Steve, looks like we're ready for the warrant for February 2024.
During the month of February 2024, the college dispersed $3,103,041 as outlined therein. So is there any question? I ask for your approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion sign, motion passes. All right, now we're at institutional reports. So Dr. Page, I'll turn it to you.
All right, we have today for our institutional report, our institutional research director, Judy Riney, who is going to drill down on our census data. Last month, Dr. Porter gave us the broad pictures of our census, but Judy provides this for the leadership team, a drill down on it. And we thought this would be useful to you all to see as well. Judy?
This is a snapshot of the 20th day of our spring semester, and I just wanted to show you how we're doing. Our head count for this semester is 3,447, and our credit hours 31,473, and that is a nice increase. Our head count increased by 9.4%. Credit hours are up by almost 7%.
You can stop right there. Good job.
If you want to look at the other schools around the state to see how they did, that's what this chart is. I don't have quite all the schools. I sent out an email and only, most of them did respond, but you can see for the head count change, we were the highest head count change and we're about third for the credit hours. So some schools are down, some are up. We're doing pretty good compared to the others. This is a breakdown by our race ethnicity. About the same as it has been in the past. You can see for 80.9% of our students are white. Overall, if you take out the international and the unknown students, you'll get a minority of 18.6%. And for our service area, the minority is 12.7%. So we are quite a bit higher than our overall service area. Our full-time, part-time status, part-time is 56%, which is about normal for us. Our residency, we have 25% from our in-district, the counties that pay the taxes. For the rest of Missouri that are out of districts, it's 71%, 2.3% out of state, and we have 18 international students this semester.
Doesn't, go ahead.
How does that compare, not to make you go back a slide, but the in-district, out of district, how does that compare year to year? Is that pretty normal numbers?
That
we're
is
seeing?
normal, yes. The modality is going to tell us where they're taking their classes, if it's online or in person. And we have 46% who are taking all of their classes online. 30% are taking a mixture and 23% are strictly in person. And if you look over the last 8 years, that's what the bottom chart is. You can see in 2017, we had 31% who took online. And then in 2021, we had that COVID. So most of our classes were online and it hasn't quite dropped back down. So it might be staying there in the 40 range. Right now, we're at the 46% for online. This is a breakdown of our age. And as you can see, we're a pretty traditional, straight out of high school type of school. The median age for all of our students is 19. If you throw out the dual credit high school students, it jumps up to 20. And of course, the high school students, the average age for them is 17. Gender is 66% female, which overall nationwide is 59%. So we're a little bit higher than the nation average, but overall more females tend to go to college. When a student applies, they check on their application what site that they want to get their services from. And this is a breakdown of where they said, this is where I'm going to do my navigation, my financial aid, that type of service. And I just have the last 4 years, so you can see how that changed. Dual credit has jumped quite a bit. Whiteman and Boonville decreased, and the rest are kind of hanging in where they have been for the last couple of years. I broke down the students by, if they were dual credit students, we have 1,202. If they were enrolled in the fall, so they came back for the spring semester, and that was 1,749. And then there were 496 students who were not here in the fall. So I broke them down a little bit more. For the dual credit students, 65% of them were enrolled for the fall and they came back in the spring. And for those who were not here in the fall, 23% of them were first-time college students, so never took college anywhere else, came to us first. We had first-time transfer students, so they were brand new to State Fair, but they had went to college somewhere else. 20% of them were continuing students, they had just taken the fall off. And then the readmitted students, that 23.6, they had gone to State Fair at some time, they were gone long enough that they had to actually reapply. And then the 10% personal interest visits, they're kind of just here to say hello, taking one class, maybe to get them going. They had no intentions of making this a long-term career here. And I broke the new students, the first time in college and the first time transfer students, broke them down by residency, and that percentage matches almost perfectly with the overall percentage of the students. I also wanted to see what kind of major or what their goal was, and 39% were pre-house, so they're here getting their prerequisites, hoping to get into one of their health programs. 34% roughly are here to get an Associates of Arts degree, 15 for an applied science, and then the breakdown you can see for the rest of the students. This slide is looking at a different cohort. It's not the 3,447 spring students. These are students who are here in the fall, which we had 3,754, and I wanted to see what happened to them. 5% of them graduated, and 67% enroll again in this spring. So our retention rate is a combination of did they graduate or did they return, and that's 71%, and that's right on track to where we usually are. When we report to the federal government for retention, we only look at first-time freshmen. So first-time freshmen in the fall was 918, and 693 of them returned, and that retention rate is higher, 75%, which is right on track where we usually are.
So our goal is, I mean, we need to be over 60% return in the fall. So
Yeah.
you have to be higher than that in the spring to come back. That's possible.
So our students that got Pell Grants was about 52% of them, brought in $2.7 million. And 61% of our students are first generation, so neither parent has a bachelor's degree. If you look at our dual credit students and you wanted to know what kind of where they went to high school, Boonville was the top seed for this semester, followed by Camdenton and then Clinton and Smith Cotton. But these are our dual credit high school students. And if you want to see what classes they're taking, the English Comp 2 is the top class, followed by public speaking and pre-calculus algebra and history. So getting in their general education requirements there. The majority of dual credit students, 63%, are just taking one class. 23% of them are taking two, and 14% of them are eager and they're taking 3 or more classes. The dual credit students, about 40% of them take the class after high school, and 48% of them are taking them online. The 10% are taking them here in Sedalia, and 2% at our other campuses. How we're doing this spring? Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Can you find out, how do we find out what keeps the fall freshmen from being spring freshmen?
If they're here in the fall, they're still a freshman in the spring, they're just not a first-time freshman.
I mean, the ones who are leaving.
That don't return. Dr. Porter, you want to answer that?
Do we know, we track a great deal of that information, and the Enrollment Management Council is trying to put together strategies. We know who they are, and we can give you a description of what they look like when they leave. We have not done a really good job of identifying before they fall off. Right, so we're trying to identify points in the semester when we know people stop attending. We try to identify points in the semester when we know it's too late to recover their balance, to recover their grade. So that's something that we worked on with one of the FAST groups for the last year, and that the Enrollment Management Council is picking up and running with right now.
And also with the National Student Clearinghouse, I sent them a list of our students who did not come back, and they can let me know if they went to another school. There's a little bit of a delay because they have to wait till the schools report who all is there, but we can do that. I think we do that on a regular basis to see if they're going somewhere else or if they're just out there in the job market.
Stop out. Somebody who leaves and doesn't come back.
And also Dr. Porter's group are contacting those students that quit attending and urging them to come back, see if we can help them overcome their hurdles that keep them away. You can see the important role of the community college in access. Those first generation students, those students that, you know, have financial need. We see that related in our demographics. So,
Thank you so much. You're a lot of good data. All right, we are always blessed to have a student government report and appreciate Cameron, the president of SGA. So share with us what you know.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me again. So I just kind of want to talk about what we're doing here at the end of the year. School is kind of coming to a close and people are finishing up. So, you know, we kind of want to have a little bit of fun with students and try to make it as least as stressful as possible, especially since finals and some people, you know, have boards. So we are doing something we do every year. At the end of April or the very beginning of May, we're going to be having our Mr. SFCC pageant. If you are not familiar with it, if you've ever seen or heard of a Mr. Valentine's Day pageant, it's very similar. It's basically a male pageant, and it's meant to be a comedic type of thing. So it's really fun. I feel speak some information about that here pretty soon. Everybody that takes part in it, there are students here, some of them representing clubs or sports. And it's a really good time if you're looking for a laugh. I definitely recommend attending. And some of these students really do work hard, and they mean business. So it's always a good time to see people get competitive. And then we are also looking at bringing a snow cone truck out for the softball sophomore night / family day type of thing, and that's April 13th, I believe. And so we'll have a ton of ice truck out there for the students. We're going to start with 100 snow cones, and then we'll just add on. There's more students there. That's something we're going to be providing to try to up the attendance at one of those games as well. And then also, aside from our events that we're doing, recently we have been working on adjunct staff and instructor of the year awards. So all of the a survey is sent out to all the students, both online and in person, and they have the opportunity to nominate somebody that they believe deserves instructor, adjunct, or staff of the year. And so SGA's role in that, so we go through and we read through every single one of those. We had over 180 that we went through and read. We were in here for like 4 hours one day working on it, but we got through it. From there, we choose our top 3 for each category, and an email is sent to those people, and they submit an essay to us, and we read those and we grade those, and that's how the decision is made. So we are just finishing up on that. We finished reading those today and submitting our answers in for that, so that will be happening very soon. Yeah, that's about all we're doing right now. We also have SGA elections going on, so I'm excited to see what next person is going to be doing this next year, and hopefully they succeed. So.
Thank you, Cameron. You all don't know this, but ELT's nominated Dean Leonard for the Mr. SFCC. I forgot to tell you.
We look forward to it. He means business, so I hope it right.
Okay.
Thank you, Cameron.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so Keith, are you ready? Looks like we've got quite a few things.
Yeah, I think it's me from here on out.
Yeah.
Jamie just on the water.
Yeah,
So some of these you don't need me to read literally everything in here, that's, you know, we can.
Read everything.
So
I will read it.
So I'll let you, if you want to do this, you can introduce each one, so those maybe that are online are knowing what you're talking about. So start out with your group health plan.
We'll start with the group health plan. One thing I want to make a note of in here, when this was first sent out, erroneously, it said the FY25 HSA plan had a $3,000 deductible. In FY25, the HSA deductible has actually gone to $3,200. That's reflected correctly in your packet here. But when it's first sent out, it had the $3,000. I just wanted to make clear that. So anyway, we did put out the group health plan. We're consortium in that. It came back at a 5.5% increase for FY25. You can see the rates, the old rates and the new rates there for the base plan, the Viant plan, and then the FSA. So to recommend the Board of Trustees accept the proposal below for the health insurance for Missouri Educational Health Group. That's the consortium we belong to. This represents a 5.5% increase in college for FY '24. The consortium is service managed by Assured Partners in Moberly, Missouri, provided by United Healthcare. So we're still with United Healthcare. And again, we have the base option to buy up and a health savings, high deductible health plan percent health savings account.
Motion to approve.
And here's a second.
Second.
I don't see any more discussion, questions. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
The consortium also deals with our dental insurance. That also is up 5.5% from them. Also managed by the Missouri Education Health Group. And again, offered through United Healthcare. The rates this time for a full-time employee are $31.09 per month. The family rate would be $85.33 a month. There is a buy-up plan that's a little bit more. I think you get your little that's for more services. No, but these are a 5% increase.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions, more questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Vision insurance is also provided through the MEHT consortium. These rates are also at 5.5% through them, and also offered through United Healthcare. With that, the rates would be $11.75 per month for employee, $19.81 per month for the employee and spouse, and then $22.01 for employee for a family plan. $11.20 per month for employee and child, or $39.7 per month family cover. So it follows like the healthcare plan. It's optional. If employee wants it, they pay for it. So vision insurance.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
We also provide all of our employees accidental death and dismemberment and basic life insurance. That is also managed by Assured Partners. This comes through Guardian Life. It's paid for by the college. These rates did not change from last year. The rates are 2 cents per $1,000. I think we have $100,000 life insurance. Basic life at 10 cents per 1,000 for a total of $12 per $1,000 coverage. I know employees can also buy additional insurance if they want. We had no change from last year to this.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
In your packet are all of the full-time exempt positions. These are the ones that exist right now. They do not include any new positions that we may add as we go through the budgeting process. Could we add positions as we go through the budget process? We'll bring those to you for approval. So what you're seeing there are all the positions that currently exist in the college for full-time exempt administrative personnel. Ones in yellow are the grant-funded positions for your information. Like your recommended the board approve the full-time faculty exempt administrative positions at the beginning. And we'll add new positions should we need them as we go through the budgeting process. These are included right now in the FY 2025 budget.
Just a reminder, our policy and regulation calls for us to approve positions prior to April 1st, and after the approval, then we'll be issuing contracts to employees or a contract letter, and the employees have a certain number of days to notify us whether they.
You probably had the same point I did. There is one new full-time position.
Executive Director Jeff City.
Okay, thank you.
It is a new position.
Yes, it is. You looked at it more closely than I did.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Employee compensation increase for fiscal year 2025. The following compensation increase for fiscal year 2025 for employees in good standing and hired into their current position for February 1, 2024 are as follows. Full-time faculty provide a 1.6% increase to the current faculty salary base for both for all 168 day, 180-day, and 184-day contracts, and provide a one-step advancement on the updated salary schedule. That's at the maximum step for faculty eligible for a step. Non-instructional full-time staff would receive a 3.5% increase. Permanent part-time classified staff would receive a 3.5% increase. Then any adjustments as appropriate for educational attainment, professional development activities, job reclassification, and/or equity. The above compensation package has been taken into consideration in the development of the fiscal year 2025 budget. Recommend the Board of Trustees approve the compensation increases pending final approval of the 2025 budget.
How much is that increase in percent?
Step increase is approximately, it varies slightly, but approximately 1.9%.
Where you're going is that roughly equivalent to 3.5% for a faculty member. It changes a little bit depending on where they are on the salaries.
Did somebody second?
We have a second. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion passes.
FY 2025 tuition and fee rates. It's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the following tuition and fee rates for the academic year 2024-2025. In-district residents, a rate of $129 per credit hour, a $3 increase. For Missouri residents, $196 per credit hour, which is a $5 increase. And non-Missouri residents, $264 per credit hour, a $7 increase. There will be no increase to dual credit. There will be no increase to any of the tiered tuitions, 1, 2, 3, or 4. There will be no increase in the technology fee. Military rate for covered individuals under Section 179 of Veterans Benefits, which includes Whiteman Air Force Base active duty personnel, their spouse, and dependent children that do not meet in-district residency requirements, to be set at the board-approved Missouri tuition resident rate. Additionally, the online differential tuition will be waived for the military-related students and the military and their military-related students designated herein. Recommend these tuition fees be effective for fall 24 semester, summer 2025 semester.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
The next two items are programs that are offered through the Missouri Health Profession Consortium, which we are a fiscal agent for one of those and Northern College fiscal agent for the other. These are set by the Health Professions Consortium, or recommended by them for our approval to participate in that. First is the FY 25 Occupational Therapy Assistant Program tuition. Missouri Health Professions Consortium has set the chargeback fees for the OTA program for 2024-2025 at $217 per credit hour. Based on the recommendation by the MHPC, the fiscal agent, State Fair Community College, collects tuition fees for the OTA program, calculated as the chargeback fee times a 28% upcharge round to the nearest dollar, resulting in a tuition rate of $278 per credit hour. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the tuition for the OTA program as shown above. On approval, tuition fees will be effective for fall 24 to the summer 2025 semester. Motion approved.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor,
There's no here.
No, it's a flat, and it's
Flat.
incorporated into the overall tuition.
So as fiscal agent, correct me if I'm wrong, but as fiscal agent, then all of the colleges will charge the same tuition rate, $278, which is a requirement of accreditation. We will collect $217 per student, per credit hour per student. And the participating colleges will, charge to cover their expenses taking care of those students.
Yeah, so the charge back to us is to cover obviously the cost of us and.
And this covers all the costs for the OTA program, those tuition and fees, so it's not an additional cost for us.
And we also get our own 28% as well. We write ourselves a check for the chargeback and we keep that 28%.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Next is in the consortium program is the FY25 Medical Laboratory Technician MLT program. The Missouri Health Professions Consortium has set chargeback fees in the MLT program for 24-25 at $268.67 per credit hour based on the recommendation from the HPC. The fiscal agent, which is Mobile Area Community College, collects the tuition and fees for the MLT program calculated as a chargeback fee times a 28% upcharge, resulting in a tuition rate of $344 per credit hour. It's $344 per credit hour for the MLT program. Recommended the Board of Trustees approve tuition for the MLT program as shown above. And upon approval, tuition fees are effective fall 24 through summer 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Well, the next one is actually one I'm actually pretty happy with, because we had a lease with Boonville that had to be renewed every 2 years. So we decided, we might want that alone. So this is actually going to request a 5-year renewal on the lease versus a 2-year renewal. So, and that was coming up in this July. So the resolution, the request is, it's recommended the Board of Trustees amend the current agreement with the City of Boonville, Missouri, extending the renewal term to 5 years from the current 2-year renewal term. This option allows the college to continue to utilize the science hall on the Kipper campus for its classrooms and academic support areas at the same terms and conditions as the current agreement. That current agreement was entered into on July 1, 2019, so the terms remain the same for that, including what we pay. Which commenced in 2019 for a 3-year term, and then it went renewed for every 2 years. So we're now amending that to a 5-year term. It's further recommended that the Vice President of Finance and Administration be authorized to sign the agreement with the City of Boonville. The actual contract or the agreement is in your packet. You can read it. Funding is budgeted for operating expenses.
The City of Boonville is very generous in providing us help to have these programs in their community, and we think it's a good investment for them. But we do appreciate the support of the City of Boonville for this very expensive lease.
To approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Now get into the 4 change orders that occurred on our construction projects that we discussed in the work session. First of all is the residence hall electrical service to the project site, where we took a spur off of from where the EPC is to get basically a secondary circuit to the residence hall. So that was a change order. It's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the residence hall change order 02 and then 24,310 from PC&E Professional Contracts Engineers to install 850 linear feet of 4-inch roll pipe to bring electrical service to the residence hall project site. Funding is the residence hall construction funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
The next two of these resolve around working the soil so that we could adequately prepare it for the foundation. When we got into the soil, it was needed a little more help than we anticipated when we did the contract. So for residence wall and suitable removal at the project site. So it's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the residence hall change order 03 in the amount of $20,845 for professional contractor engineer to remove an additional 6 inches of unsuitable soil across residence hall projects. So we scraped off another 6 inches so we can get down to some drier ground. Funding is residence hall construction funds.
There'll be a change order then with that much more material. We'll have to pour it down there for more footing.
No, footings will be the same.
Okay,
Footings are the same because you're just lower.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're just taking another 6 inches off the top to get the.
Lower in the building for,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they just gotta get the wet soil off. It's too wet.
motion approved.
Second, sorry.
Well, I think the additional fill material is the next item. So,
That's the access.
No.
No, that's the
access
access
road.
road.
okay,
That's-
Yeah, they
Okay,
just
so
gotta
you
put it
understood what I
in
was
the
saying.
top.
yeah.
Okay, you, okay, good.
So when they did the initial soil samples and they were testing it around, was that not caught at that time? I'm just curious. I should have asked them that earlier, sorry.
My understanding is when they test them, when they test the soil, they tested for the, I don't want to use the term, the quality of the
Yep,
soil. So the soil itself was fine.
Mhm.
And had we been building into the summer, it probably would have been fine. And they probably tested it last fall.
Right.
So we got there to do it, because it was wet and we could either wait and let it hopefully dry out in the summer or get rid of it and get going, which we decided. That is my best understanding I could tell. It wasn't a soil as much as just the moisture in it. And part of the moisture is being held in because that area had all kinds of grasses and weeds on it that,
Yeah.
and all the roots had gone in, so it was just holding on to the moisture more so than, so.
So we don't think anything's causing the moisture per se, like we don't.
No, no, my understanding was that a lot had to do with the vegetation that was on top of it.
Okay.
Because it was just, weeds, the stuff that, we've heard about here about how even some of the pasture land is out there. They just had to kind of cut that off and get all that out to get to, legit dirt.
Yeah.
It's the best
It's
way to
not
say it.
close to the creek or anything.
No, it's just, no, and actually where we're building is actually fairly high up from the creek, and it's a fairly high elevation. It literally was getting dry soil, that much. And thought was, had we been doing it in June or July, you probably would have had dry
It's so
soil.
dry, that's just interesting, it can be
Right.
so wet now. when
And
you
it's
float.
elevated there, that's what caught, yeah. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, and,
Trying to understand.
and we have a third party, as you know, you prove that, so we have a third party independent contractor tester that tests it, and they test it every single day to be sure that it is, and they were the ones that said, nope, not passing.
Better catch it now.
Not passing, so we gotta get it done. So that's what they did.
Yeah.
The next one is
Wait a
actually,
minute, so,
I'm sorry.
okay, so let's, take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion passes.
The next one is the access road to it. So not only do we have to do that, we have to be able to get the trucks into the construction site. That also had a similar problem in that the ground was wet now. And also that's gonna be the road that actually goes into it permanently. So not only an access road, but the main road into the residence hall. That also was having similar issues with the soil. So that was recommended that the board of trustees approve residence hall change order 04 in the amount of $23,1650 for PCE. This one was to add additional fill material for the drop soil remediation of the access road. And that is one where they did go in and just put rock and stuff on top of it to get it suited. The funding is resident hall construction funds.
Motion.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion passes.
Right, we didn't even talk about the cat water line relocation. So there is a water line that is effectively almost adjacent to the cat building, and it feeds a fire hydrant over there. Forget the depth, it's at a certain depth there. So it has to be at a certain depth to keep it from freezing. When they were doing the cat, they took off soil from the top. That made that water line too shallow. Not sure, again, right, it was missed, it was, so therefore they had to lower that line to keep it at the required minimum depth, for going to the fire hydrant. So that was also a change order. It's recommended the board of trustees approve the cat change order to an amount of $39,167 from Centrix to relocate the existing water line so as to meet the minimum depth requirements. The water line is located under the CAP parking lot and also along the building. Funding is the CAP construction funds.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
I do have a note that water line, so Ben said something, because I wrote water line.
So my understanding is when they took that 6 inches off,
Right.
that water, now that
Yeah.
pipe wasn't.
And I understand, like at the fairgrounds, they say, you know, you can look and look, but you really, unless you know where they are, you don't know if there's water lines. So,
I think it's related to last time's change order too, where they had to remove more dirt than.
Right.
all in favor? Say aye. Pose same sign. Motion passes.
Now let's go inside our existing buildings. As you know, as you may recall, in the last year, we did a fairly substantial project to replace all of the, AUC, what I call chiller lines in Gator. Well, when that was done and they went to turn the system back on, the folks who were in Allison's building in Hecker got really, really hot and couldn't figure out why. And well, the reason they figured out why is because that system also feeds Hecker. But that was never put in the project was scoping this year. They didn't say Hecker had to be done. And so then they just cut it off and Hecker was left literally high and dry. It couldn't be chilled.
Hot and dry.
Hot and dry. So we had to come back in and fix that. I mean, we had to go in and get chiller pipes into Hecker now. That was missed the first go round. So, and that's, I think that's done now. They got that done, I think this week, Allison.
It was cool up there today.
Yeah, I think they had it done.
It was yesterday, I think. they did
Yeah.
that.
So a little bit recommending in reverse, but still, it's recommended the board of trustees accept the additional bid for the chilled water piping replacement for the Yater Learning Center. 38,332.64 for mechanical. This bid is for reconnecting the new chiller pipe system to the Hecker Science Building. It's further recommended the vice president of finance be authorized and direct to sign the agreement. Funding source is one-time state preferred maintenance funds.
Motion to approve and da-da-da-da.
But Keith, the crew that did the cutting and splicing and whatnot, did they not know? I mean, I
They
think-
did what they were told to do by the project. The engineer that scoped it out and developed the scope and gave them the plan. I mean, they're just like, I mean, there's an architect, but they designed what to do. And they were the contract said, fine, we'll do that. That's what you scoped out for us to do. We'll do it. They were never told to worry about that. I can't tell you why it was not included. I can't answer your question. I can answer your question why it didn't get done, because we're just following the instructions they were given to do.
My personally paid to give instructions, right?
Yes.
So is there no recoupment from that?
We would have had to pay for this anyhow. The bid we got for the initial work didn't include this work.
There is discussions with folks about how to handle this and this. I'm sure.
Maybe making a change of who is, I don't even know what the title is, but you know, over the grounds, we've had a change in personnel.
Yes, sir.
So if it's not written down on a map, blueprint, you know, I don't know, could have been possibly there.
Anyway, they have a pool building. And to that point, I mean, it would have made the original bid larger, so.
So pay me now, pay me later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're preferred to pay them now, but we'll pay them later.
All right, I have a motion on the floor.
We need a second, yes.
I would entertain a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion passes.
We have following two recommendations for architectural, to begin some discussion for architectural services. One is for the Tech 2 building renovation, which we were looking to build, renovate into expanded dental hygiene and OTA programs. It is part of our MOIC Sales 5 request that if funded by this year's budget, we will move forward with. In the meantime, we want to get ready. So we have been interviewing some architects. So it's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the selection of Paragon Architecture of Springfield, Missouri for architectural services to include, but not limited to, concepting, planning, schematic design, construction documents, and construction administration for the proposed renovation of the Tech Two building for dental hygiene and OTA programs. This office will recommend the President and Vice President of Finance and Administration be authorized to proceed with contract negotiations with Paragon Architecture to determine the specific scope of work, deliverables, timeframe, compensation, any other items as may be required for the contract. Furthermore, it's recommended upon negotiating a satisfactory contract, the President and Vice President, Finance Administration be authorized to sign any and all agreements with Paragon Architecture for the project, and perform those acts as necessary to carry out and perform the terms of the agreement. Funding source is State of Missouri MOAG Sales 2025 grant funds. Paragon Architecture understands that the contract of the college is dependent upon the MOAG sales funding for the college to be approved and appropriated in the State of Missouri fiscal 25 budget.
Just to add, that building, Tech Two, currently houses automotive and occupational therapy and the esports arena. So if we get the MOAG Sales 5, and automotive's moving out to the new building, and we will have to spend those funds in the next fiscal year. So we need to move, we need to be ready July 1 for the architect to be working, and so we can get the project done and it's all timed out. So that would involve then moving dental hygiene from the MPC in to Tech Two, and moving the esports team to another location, eventually into MPC. That's the vision for it. And it would allow some expansion with the dental hygiene, easier patient access for our dental hygiene program. And that building has some foundation problems. So it'll allow us to address those foundation problems, get it fixed as part of it.
The relocation and hygiene is really needed. This is a very needed project.
Motion to approve.
There.
Any other questions?
So we don't know quite the cost yet. We're still negotiating that, but their cost as the architect does fall into that MOAG sales. I am understanding, right?
That is correct.
So the way state law works, so we did a request for proposals. We interviewed 5 different architects, but by law, we can't discuss the terms of that. So we chose an architect that we'd like to work with. Now we'll discuss the terms of that. And if it works out, we'll sign the contract. If the terms are unacceptable, then we will not sign a contract. We'll come back with another recommendation.
And MOAG sales is around $5 million.
About 3.5.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the match. The building's the match.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
We simultaneously are doing a similar situation with the West Side Athletic Complex and the engineers. So next revolves around the selection of architectural services for the West Side Athletic Complex. So it's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the selection of Insight Design Studio of Kansas City, Missouri for architectural services to include but not limited to concepting, planning, schematic designing, construction documents, and construction administration for the proposed college athletic complex. It's also recommended the President and Vice President for Finance Administration will authorize to proceed with contract negotiations with Insight Design Studio to determine the specific scope of work, deliverables, timeframe, compensation, and other items as may be required for the contract. Furthermore, it is recommended upon negotiating a satisfactory contract, the President and Vice President of Finance Administration be authorized to sign any and all agreements with Insight Design Studio and perform those acts as necessary to carry out and perform the terms of the agreement. Funding source is the SFCC Foundation Fund specifically directed to this project.
Locally, you might, projects that they have done, they did the Smith Cotton High School football stadium project. So that's a local project that they did. Another thing that's desirable about this group is they have a local civil engineer that has already worked on our college property on the west side and is familiar with the geo issues on the west side. So we anticipate, there will be similar kind of challenges with the athletic facilities there. So having somebody knowledgeable and local, with that work, we think is advantageous. But the same deal, we interviewed numerous architects, and we are ready to negotiate that price.
Any questions, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Keith, you're coming to a close here, so.
Well, this is not bad.
I know, you're good.
I'm actually done. The next is, and probably discuss the work session on increased budget authority and realizing the ability to do that because of our positive variance in this year's budget. So FY 24 increased budget authority, request for increased budget authority. Due to the positive budget variance to date, the forecast for the remainder of 2024, it is recommended the Board of Trustees approve an FY 24 budget authority increase of not to exceed $150,000 to be used for one-time, non-recurring athletic, academic, and/or facilities maintenance purchases as approved by the President and Vice President of Finance Administration.
Motion to approve.
Eugene, second.
Second.
We had that discussion, as you say, in our work session, so.
I think it's a good idea to do maintenance, that we have funds. We're still going to have a higher than budgeted surplus of revenue this year, even after spending up to $150,000, and probably an ideal time to amend our budget.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
All right. Good job, Keith. So
Good job.
I'm not going to go as long as Keith, but I will call your attention to the calendar at page 8 of the agenda and call your attention to a couple of things. Remind you that April 2nd is election day. And we have 3 candidates running for the board: Patty Wood, Jeffrey Page, and I'd like to welcome Jeff to the meeting today, and Steve Bliss. So please vote. Student Art Show is April 11th. We have a special board meeting that day as well to install the new board, the new members, and to elect officers for the board. CPE signing day is April 17th. That's the day when high school seniors who are interested in our career technical programs commit to the college. Athlete commitments occur. I understand this morning that there are more than 125 students already committed to the signing day. It was originally scheduled for the theater, but we've had to move it to the MPC to accommodate the larger than anticipated crowd. Musical, The Lightning Thief, April 24th. We have a board meeting April 25th. It's not on this list, but it's in our agenda. And I'll just note that Cameron highlighted the Instructor of the Year awards, and that ceremony is on Friday, April 26th. It's not on this list, but it's Friday, April 26th at 1 p.m. Dr. Murders, is that in Gator Lobby?
We usually do it stop.
Stop it.
Here, it says it's here lobby on the weekly.
So that'll be a fun ceremony. So that's some calendar things. We conducted legislative visits yesterday. President Wood, Vice President Parker, and myself, and Dr. Murders and Mr. Acuff visited, and Patty's granddaughter, who's on spring break. We visited our Senator Crawford and several of our representatives, and we were advocating for the college transfer bill that is currently being proposed in both the House and the Senate. And we're also advocating for, increased funding for community college, allowing us to keep our tuition down and to fund our workforce, training programs. So we had really good reception by all of our senators, senator and representatives. Today, I went back to Jefferson City with some other college presidents, and we met with the House Floor Leader Patterson, Representative Patterson, and we asked that the transfer bill be brought to the House floor for discussion and vote. And that's House Bill 2310. Basically, this bill will improve the transfer of students from any public institution to any other public institution in the state. It's just not about community colleges and universities. So it's going to identify 5 key majors and develop pathways where the students can transfer seamlessly, no matter where they start and where they end up. So Representative Patterson agreed to place this bill on the House floor Wednesday. So we made really good progress, and we're really excited about that. We need to start planning for a summer retreat. That summer retreat is where we review our strategic plan and our program review data with the board and start to establish budget priorities for the upcoming year. And so last year we had it on a Saturday, and then we had a board meeting where we did an extended work session. So I'm not for sure what you want to do. We need, ELT is having a retreat in early July. And so it would be after that we would like to have this retreat. I know Saturday retreats to post challenges on some of our staff and making it. I would like to have some ideas for days for a retreat when you're available. Some ideas, you can email those to me, and we'll come forward with a recommendation at the next meeting. I also am going to pass around this call for proposals for the ACCP convention. These call for proposals are due May 24th, and the Leadership Congress is October 23rd through 26th. So I do know we have one board member and a staff member that are already talking about a presentation, but we had 2 presentations last year by board members. So I will email this to you, but the hard copy is going around, and I would encourage you to think about pairing with a staff member and doing a presentation. There's 5 different tracks, I believe, including workforce development, operations of a board, and other things that they're interested in. So it's good to share the really good things that we do here at State Fair Community College with others. So remember, that's due May 24th. During spring break, President Wood, Vice President Parker, and I attended the Chamber banquet, and we were honored to receive, on behalf of State Fair Community College, the President's Award. So we got a nice plaque and recognition for the really good work that you all are doing here at State Fair Community College, and the impact we're making on the community. We were surprised that it also included a resolution Representative Pollitt introduced in the Missouri House, recognizing State Fair Community College's role in our region in workforce development, economic development, and college transfer and training for business and industry. So that was really nice of Representative Pollitt. Do you guys have anything to say? We had a warm recognition from the group. And I wrote down I was gonna welcome Jeff Page, and I've already done that, so.
All right, so Keith will give you one more shot. How's that? Yeah, that financial report.
I like doing the financial report. We are having a strong year financially. Typically this time of year, our tuition fees are about 90% of our budget. Typically the fall is 50, fall semester is 50, spring semester 40, and summer's 10, kind of where it gets out. We see on this, we're about 95% of our total budget, so that shows we're, fits with being ahead. One thing you might want to notice here that the only allows, if you look at the revenue in FY 2022, 2 years ago, we were about 23 million. At this point, we're at 28 million now. So we've increased our revenues $5 million in that 2-year period. If you look at the fund expenses in the same time from 17.9 to say 18, 21.5, those have only gone up 3.5 million. So always like it when sometimes when you increase your revenue, it can cost you more to increase the revenue you get. And in this case, our revenue increase is outpacing our expense base by a pretty good margin. So I think that attribute to the staff, it's attribute to everybody. It's allowed us to do a number of the things that we've been able to do lately that you can see all around campus. And I will say there's probably some colleges out there not able to do that. So, but we, we'll have our challenges going forward as some funding may slow down, but I think we've got a really good work, kind of an ethos in the college of spending wisely and putting in wise places and people looking to not spend where they don't need to. So overall, a very strong financial report. I see no reason that it wouldn't change between now and the years. And lastly, a couple of purchases that were made that fall under the bid level. Harvest Graphics was printing the Marathon magazine. We are reimbursed for that fee by the foundation. And the other shows audio video was finalizing the building AV installation in all classrooms and everything. So those were both under the bid pressure.
Thank you. All right, board discussion.
I would like to say that during my absence, I received a nice, wonderful bouquet of flowers. It made me feel tender, and I appreciate that. From the staff and the faculty and from the board and the administrative offices. And I also received one from the nursing school. Thank you, Allison. So that's very nice. So thank you, guys.
Well, we're glad that you're doing well and pray that will continue.
I do too. Thank you. And I know that you guys have all expressed warm thoughts, prayers, and whatnot. And I appreciate that very much.
Tonight is kind of like my last official meeting with the Board of Trustees. We have one more coming up, but tonight was like last work session and been able to motion and approve everything quick for everybody.
Get them all in.
Get it all in. So I just want to say I'll probably have a few more words on our special session, but it's been a blessing and a privilege to serve with all of y'all for our constituents. And it has been a blessing and a privilege to serve for you in this role. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
It appears here's the little bit and still get to church on time. In Jeff City, the House will vote one budget for community colleges. It's quite likely the Senate will vote another budget amount. So we would need to be in contact with the legislators. There's a possibility that one of our local folks, one of the folks within our region will be on the joint committee trying to resolve. So we'll need to be heard with that person on that. But that the House is gonna act first. So don't give up the ship when the House acts.
All right, well, you're gonna. take
Yep,
it
I was,
here?
I make sure, but I know she's not here tonight, but I know Mary and her team put on a really nice gala on Saturday. Megan and Mary and her team, their teams, I just thought it was a really nice night to support the college and the foundation, and so kudos to everybody that handled that and that attended. I thought it was
We had
really
incredible community support at that event. and
Mhm.
We also thank our community for their strong financial support.
I guess our concerts, we've had a couple of concerts too in the last couple of weeks, so lots of things happening that, certainly for our community, we're blessed.
Yeah, I invite you in April to attend the President's concert, vocal music, and this will be a special concert, so I hope you all can attend.
singing. That's what I was going.
A solo.
We'll see if there's a motion to approve the window replacement when it's all done.
I think you can hit that note. I really don't.
Never know.
No, it's true.
Well, looks like our next meetings, we do have a couple scheduled in April, so mark your calendar. Special session will be on Thursday, April the 11th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m., which is the first of the reorganization of the board. And then the next general session meeting will be on Thursday, April 25th, 2025 at 5:30. And both, of course, are held right here in the Hoffman Boardroom. We have already gone into closed session for the hiring and firing personnel issues. And so, being nothing else on our agenda, I think we are ready to have our general session meeting. adjourned.
Yeah, no.
Only finish.
Yeah, someone finish.
To adjourn.
All
Second.
right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
What's the over under on how long our meetings will be when Tom's?
No.